Well, welcome back. The Namibia University of Science and Technology, in partnership with Bloomberg, MTC and the Namibia Investment and Finance Academy, also known as NIFA, is set to launch Namibia's first ever Bloomberg Finance Lab tomorrow at NUST. Now, this groundbreaking initiative is expected to transform financial education and market analytics in the country, equipping students and professionals with world-class tools to navigate the evolving financial landscape. Joining us in studio to break this down is Mr. Arinze Okafo, founder and CEO of NIFA, as well as Valerie Garises, Director of Technology, Innovation and Entrepreneurship under the Directorate of Research, Innovation and Partnerships at NUST. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Nina.
Thank you so much for being here. Lovely having you with us. To start with, Arinze, perhaps you can talk to us about some of the key challenges in Namibia's financial education and markets analytics that Bloomberg Finance Lab is aiming to address.
Thank you, Nina, for the question, and good evening to your listeners and viewers. Very good question. So the first one is it's limited practical experience. So a lot of times we have our graduates very smart, but sometimes when they get into the workforce, they just lack that, practical exposure. I think the second one is the disconnect with industry and academia. So as you know, the financial sector, it changes almost every day. When you wake up to a new day, it's a different landscape. So at times, academia doesn't keep up with those changes in industry. So this is what collaborations like this then bring, where you bridge that gap between industry and academia. The last challenge is our global competitiveness and research gaps. Because as you know, data is what drives decision making. So when we have access to global data that a person in Dubai or UK or wherever has access to, we have the same tools. So this is really what the Bloomberg Lab bridges.
Yeah.
It provides our students, professionals, access to daily market analytics. We'll be upskilling in investments, risk management, but even for policy making, because a lot like they say, the US is the leader of the world, so some of that data is what drives some of our decision making, and that is what the Bloomberg Lab will bridge.
Fantastic. Valerie, how will this integration of Bloomberg technology into NUST's curriculum give students this competitive edge that Arinze said there's a gap, right now?
Thank you, Nina, for the question. With the incorporation of the Bloomberg into our NUST curriculum, they will have the job practical and hands-on skills needed for the job market, which meets actually the industry needs. And on top of it, what is apart from incorporating into our curriculum, we'll also offer global certifications, which is industry certifications. One of it is Bloomberg Market Concepts, which is by basically exposing the students to concepts that are, and also to real-time market data, which they can use for their studies as well as for their research. The second certification is called Bloomberg ECG, which is your environment, social and governance, which is quite a relevant topic of today. But it's a global certification that we're going to be offering as well. And the third one is a Bloomberg Financial Fundamental. That is now for the non-finance people. Like in our setup for the students who want to become entrepreneurs, that can be basically taken through the course and exposed and get the financial literacy that they need.
Fantastic. Arinze, beyond education, what impact do you foresee this finance lab having on research, industry collaborations, and Namibia's broader economic development?
Thanks for the question, Nina. I think the top two that come to mind, advanced research and policy development. So for those that may not know, so even these new developments such as your energy, oil and gas, and even our current green hydrogen framework, a lot of the data was taken off the Bloomberg terminal. So that's already one key area where the Bloomberg Lab provides value. But I think the second one, and more closer to all of us, is industry collaboration. Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, the Bloomberg terminal, you find it in every single global bank. And to localize it for us here, every single bank treasury has a Bloomberg terminal. Most of your asset managers, like myself, we have a Bloomberg terminal. Central bank, I think where I started my career, I think we have like 8 or 9. I don't know whether that's still the case. But even there, you have a Bloomberg terminal. So once you have a system that is used by every single financial institution, you're at par because you're analyzing the same data. So definitely it's policy, but then also industry collaboration.
Thank you. Valerie, will Bloomberg's financial lab be accessible to professionals and researchers or institutions outside of the University of Technology?
For sure, Nina. Yes, the Bloomberg Lab is not for the students. I think it's an industry-wide resource, as Arinze just said. It is for asset managers. It is for policymakers, and it is also for the local and international collaborations that we have. So it is basically also to reskill and upskill our financial professionals as well, which are out there, which we might need the certification for them to become more competitive in the job market, but also more employable in terms of the international job market out there.
And are there any partnerships currently in place to extend its reach?
Yes. The partnership that we have through NIFA is basically give us access to the sector itself. So, and through the sector, the non-NUST students will be able to attend a series of seminars, workshops, short courses that we are going to line up throughout the year, and they can really access that and upskill themselves.
Arinze, what positive lessons can we learn from neighboring countries who've implemented, similar initiatives?
Oh, I think Val is best placed. I think she's one of the leaders in the university, so I'm going to pass to Val on that.
Yeah, there are several African countries that have implemented. Among them is Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa, and we are more leaning to South Africa. In South Africa, it's a University of Wits, the University of Stellenbosch, that have got a similar academy going on, at their universities as well. So for us, it's basically to bring it locally and to make it affordable and accessible. Through our benchmark exercise, we've realized that sending 3 students to South Africa, it's covering what we are offering in a class of 12 here. So it's basically to bring, to make the Bloomberg certifications also affordable, but also accessible. You don't have to travel to South Africa. You don't have to go to. And the one other aspect is also we're also learning from the University of Liverpool. That's how we're also benchmarking ourselves in terms of scaling it later to that level.
Fantastic. Arinze, looking ahead, what strategies are in place to ensure the long-term sustainability of the financial labs in terms of funding, maintenance, and potential expansion?
No, thank you, Nina. And I think now I'm benefiting from that through pass that I gave to Val. Maybe just to take us back to answer that question is, why is it that many of us, we don't worry when our kids are like primary school and high school? It's because you can see there's many options, St. Paul's, Delta.
Worry in what sense?
Worry in the sense that the quality of education. So, but why is it when we get to grade 11, grade 12, all of us start thinking, should I send my kids to Wits, Stellenbosch, London? And those institutions are fantastic, but it should be made a choice rather than a necessity. So as Val mentioned, and she put it very well in context, what we have here now is, we've paid for 3 licenses, but we've got 9 on top. So it's a partnership with Bloomberg that has given us the ability to have 12 terminals. So those 12 terminals, that's what you find in the universities of London, Liverpool, and Wits, but now we've brought it here. And what makes those universities excellent? It's not just the degrees. It's also the tools, such as a Bloomberg lab, such as the infrastructure that you find now at NUST, at the HTTPS Center, but last and the most important piece of the puzzle, industry participation. Because that's what, when you go to Wits, you're taught by a banker or you're taught by a hedge fund manager. And I think that's what this type of partnership brings, is that industry to the table so that we also plug the gap that we've seen. And lastly, in terms of now sustainability, and I think, thanks Val for that. I think she's made the question much easier for me to answer. So as Val said, so the terminal is there. So it's already monetized from the certifications that will be running.
Yeah.
But also the access to data. So people who want to, you know, come up with a new innovation or a new topic, they'll access the lab. But built around that is the workshops, it's career fairs, it's conferences. So all of those are avenues that enhance the sustainability.
Right.
But I think the ultimate one, and I want to end on that, is what Val said. You calculate it costs about 350, 400,000 per graduate that we send over. That already covers the cost of about 3 of the licenses.
Yes.
And that you can localize. So once you've already covered the license cost, the rest just becomes an enhancement.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time here with us this evening. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nina.
That was Ms. Valerie Garises and Mr. Arinze Okafor speaking.